Hello, one and all. Welcome to session 6 of In a Land Not Their Own. We begin the evening, the same day we left off last time. Find ourselves in the dark woods, the outskirts of the town, the peninsula of Vapum, upon the western farmlands. You can hear the sounds of wildlife, birds and small creatures rummaging about in the underbrush, and not too far away the crashing of waves upon upon the beach. You see the flickering light of a small fire which has been set up. Taholix, Avachov, you are both gathered about this. Taholix, perhaps lost in your meditations, standing AC still, like the statue you resemble. But Avachov, you tried, find some sense of drive, of not peace, because of course peace is to be hated. Peace is a false illusion spun by that liar Zansero, divinity who only claims to care for the souls that she has in her charge. And as the indignity, the pain, self-inflicted, as well as that caused by your recent hunting expedition, shall we say, resulting in you being gored by the claws and tusks of that strange creature that become increasingly frustrated, increasingly agitated, that rage, not overflowing, but just you can't get comfortable in yourself. You've tried to numb that feeling with fire, pain, or flame, Morgul. You've tried as best you could in the limited ways you know to distract yourself, but it has been all for naught. You find yourself increasingly despairing with that realization. And as you continue to wince in the pain of your injuries, I'm going to ask you to roll me a perception check as you sit there, unable to sleep. No doubt your body would wish it, but sleep does not come to you. You can't. You're too on edge, too disturbed.
That is a 9.
Thank you, Zach. Okay. So.
Wait. I meant 11. Huh.
Okay. You are just lost in your own small hell of your own creation, or perhaps the creation of that foul orc, that magi who ensorcelled you so. But I leave the scene over to you both as you are talking amongst yourselves. Nazvog has not returned yet, still, after almost 24 hours, to lay hate upon that foul Typhon. Who knows where she is?
In my own mind, I thought of different scenarios that might have occurred digging back those memories that I know of Typhons and their blasphemous ways. I remember that Nashvog is quick on her feet. She will probably be able to outrun most servants, but if it managed to strike her first, she might be dead. I might have to stalk this thing myself and not rely on an ambush. And I ponder ways to find it, just how the tracks of snakes are followed. Just considering all of these memories as I stare into the campfire, sitting down in my very immobile position. I have not moved an inch of my rocky muscles and skin for several hours. Just been still in pondering thought.
As you consider those things, I'm going to ask you as Welterholics to give me a perception check. If you have a forte in hearing, that will apply.
$16.
Okay. As you're pondering these things, these dark thoughts, you suddenly realize not a sound, but an absence of sound. The scurrying of creatures, the calling of birds, they're gone. You still, of course, hear the crashing of waves upon the beach and the crackling of fire, but that is all that you hear.
You also hear Avachav is breathing ever heavier.
I listen to these three distinct sounds, the almost furious breathing of the ogre, the water, and the crackling of flame. I gauge them, and I do realize I don't hear any other sounds. So, almost abruptly, after so long a time of sitting still, I move slightly. That rocky sound of my limbs moving and scraping on each other can be heard. Not loud, but definitely noticeable in this absence of other long sounds. As Savachov can see me look around, and I rise. And I try to sense with my roused given blessings around me what could have disturbed the surrounding area. And I first sense for the taint, the contamination, as is my reflex.
You do not detect the presence of departed souls or of contamination, save for the still slight pulse beneath the sand. It's far away. It's somewhat far away from you, but apart from that gentle feeling, that presence, no other contamination do you sense.
I lift my own bow and I hold it up and I gesture for Avachov to rise with two of my left claws.
Avachav, slow to react, he heard the grinding of the noise of Tuhulix, felt a bit of his own agitation go down because of the grinding. And then as he rose, rose his bow and signaled him, he gets out in he jumps and gets up like in a jolt.
I look around some more and again, not saying anything, but I look towards you and gesture towards your ears and your nose, and then look around and pointing out with my left claw into the forest. Perhaps alerting you to the absence of natural noises.
Abachov by now already being signaled this thing, he actually notices, especially as he has stopped breathing that loud. He nods.
All of a sudden, as you are on edge, you both hear, as you're both alerted to this, hear snapping of twigs, rustling of leaves, snorting noises of an animal, a creature, not small, perhaps about medium-sized creature, you might guess. And you hear it from another angle, another area of a body rushing through branches, whipping back and across, and of movement, the thumping of hooves or feet upon the dirt and the underbrush.
I draw one arrow from one of my two quivers, iron tipped, and I take one thudding step forward. And then another one, a very slow one, as I gesture with two claws to Avachov, this way. And I aim around, not disturbed or hindered by the darkness of night, as I have perfect night vision.
Avachov, as you gesture him, he goes towards the direction you gesture. Did you gesture towards the... there are like two sources of sound right now, or am I correct?
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell if it's a single animal that's darting through the woods or if there's two of them.
Okay. Well, I go wherever Tehulix gestured me, and I'm probably gonna go forward as it's probably our custom, and Tehulix be back with his arrow. And I go. And actually, given this thing seems to be around us, and given my building rage, even though I cannot see it, I'm thinking maybe it's seeing us. So I'm gonna try and intimidate roll.
Okay.
Let's see if that goes. Oh, that's low. Let's see. 3. God damn it, another 11. Okay, so I go.
Yeah, you do this. And perhaps in response to all this is happening over the passing of just a few seconds, you hear, both of you, a snapping of another twig and the whip of a branch, and as you, Avachov, you let out that show of intimidation, a loud, baying call of some beast. You're not sure what animal makes that sound, but then, darting into the light of the campfire from the bushes along the exterior of this clearing you have made, another one of those creatures, perhaps it is the same one, that rotund, trunked, four-legged beast, charges forth into the light, straight at the both of you. You may loose the arrow if you wish, as you've been readying for it.
I will do so. That's a 10.
Okay. So you strike the thing in the leg, but whether feared or perhaps not even paying attention to you, it looks like it's about to charge you both again as it has done Abachal, but no, it rushes right past you into the other side of the clearing, into the bush, undisturbed by the arrow you let loose in one of its hind legs. Not a killing blow, but one that is definitely painful. But it keeps bolting forth, and then you hear more disturbances from the woods, more thudding of feet, and after a few moments longer, you see another one of those creatures bolt through, charge right past you, totally ignorant of your presence. And then you see birds, smaller creatures, wildlife of varying sizes, sorts, and modes of locomotion, flowing out, running behind you, or running, to you, to behind you. A stampede of sorts in the forest.
I stand still amidst the stampede, observing these creatures as they run past us. Being a creature of stone, I assume that they don't view me as anything threatening or some such. Not certain how they will react to Avachov's presence, but I do observe and look towards the area they're fleeing from.
It's woods. But what you do as you look around, as the tide washes over you, in the distance, you hear an animal cry of pain in the distance in front of you. You hear the uprooting of trees, of roots being broken, like Avachov you've have just recently done in your rage. And that cry is snuffed out. And then you hear something, a sound unlike one you've ever heard before. Certainly one no animal you would think could make. But a low frequency, resonating call. You feel it before you hear it. The frequency is so low your ears can't detect it at first. A cry that rings out, a roar even, that covers the entire forest, that at once sounds like the ripping of earth, the crashing of rocks, the thunderous force of waves upon the surface of stone. And you hear heavy footfalls approaching.
I remain quiet and unmoving through that roar of natural forces.
I'm going to ask you both to give me meditation fear rolls.
"23.
Okay. You are fine.
15, I used paroxysm.
Okay. So you are both
Though now I am enraged instead of afraid. So
that's
whatever
yeah,
this
and
is,
you
know.
this thing sounds like to you, Avachov, a call of challenge. And it is so much larger and louder and more intimidating than you, but that just incites you further. or perhaps otherwise it would have totally cowed you.
Then I again try. I'm gonna try again to intimidate this thing.
Okay. So as you do that, we're going to keep the scene going as I keep describing. You can let me know. Yeah. So that is what you hear. I'm going to give you guys a chance to react to that. You remain still. Okay. Okay.
I just try to focus my mind upon what could make such loud rumbling noises, and I remain immovable, perfectly still for several tens of seconds as I ponder and think.
Okay. And you
I
let
go-
out a roar of a child.
Come at me! Come at me if you dare!
And you both hear the dogs. Another tree being ripped out. This must be a huge tree being ripped from the earth itself and crashing into the ground. More cries of wounded beasts. You hear the snapping of bones, and there's just a ravaging sound approaching you, and those thundering footfalls become a loping sort of gait. You can hear from the frequency of the footfalls and the depth of the sound it makes as it gets closer and closer until it is like thunder just nearby, and from the depths of the darkness and through the underbrush you see massive golden yellow eyes pouring out from the darkness, and just illuminated in that bit of campfire and the own illumination of the eyes is the slight silhouette of a bony face towering even over both of you, prodigious though you are, for both of your species, of wicked fangs which hook almost like an anglerfish, some creature of the deep that should not see the light of day or taste the air of Igvale. Something alien and unnatural, or so it seems in this light. A gaunt face with an upturned nose, or a nose that's barely present. You see the almost skeletal slits of the nostrils. And a low rumbling from deep within the creature's throat. You have one action to do before I will continue.
I take some step backwards and roll stealth hide so I can better observe.
Well, okay. Basically, this thing looks like a skeletal kind of Could you describe me a bit the?
That's all you can see. Just see the face. The rest of the body is hindered, but the face looms over 15 feet tall.
Son of a bitch. Okay. I honestly think this is probably time for another fear meditation roll, one which I honestly wouldn't even make because by now I'm like, I start fucking running like hell because
Okay.
the
So-
head of that shit is bigger than my body.
Okay. That happens. What do you got, Mr. Taholix?
13 on stealth hiding.
Okay. So that call, that cry of rage, that is the air goes out of you, and for Avachov, and you that fire completely burns out, and your soul sinks to your stomach, the pit of your being, as you know in the gaze of this thing that this is a creature immensely more powerful than you can hope to be. And with a roar that deafens the air, that would drown out, were you to have the courage to call out yourself, would drown even you, Avachov. This creature bursts into the campfire and reaches out to strike at you both. And you see a being of brilliant red, but skin not like yours, Avachov, of a different texture. Something different, not quite flesh. It looks like a creature from the bowels of Leviathan, perhaps. Roll me a defense, Avachov.
Shall I roll as well?
Yes.
That is a 9.
Straight 9, so how fucked am I?
Okay. I will tell you. What did you get, Taholix?
9.
Oh, you got 9 as well. Okay. Very good. So, Avachov, you try to run.
Yeah.
You turn. And you, with as much power and speed as you can muster, you are absolutely booking it. But just as quickly as you turn, you feel deep into your back, deep, almost, in fact, perhaps scraping against the bones, the vertebrae of your spine. Deep claws, the hardness of rock, of granite, of something unbreakable, something eternal. I know you don't have it, Avachov, but do you, Taholix, have any grades in occultism?
Oh yes, several in fact.
Make me an occultism roll.
$12.
Okay. Now seeing this thing so up close, as you as well, I'll give you the damage in a moment. Yeah. Taholix, this creature tries to grasp you, to like perhaps crush you. It is unsuccessful in getting hold of you, but its claws at the end of its fingers rake deep and even gouge into the stony flesh that is your being, taking off, chunks of you, piercing through that strange, pebbly exterior you so recently felt upon you. But Toholix, take make sure I'm getting it right. Okay, take 9 damage to armor surpass, and you, Avachov, take 11 damage. I know you're not wearing armor.
Okay, so I assume it's gonna be our turn again, and
Yes.
Toholix is gonna go first.
Yeah, I should have rolled reaction, but we'll
Yeah,
just say
but-
this thing goes last.
Yeah, I mean we're already playing, and Toholix probably has much
That's fine.
reaction than
Yeah,
me.
Toholix, you're up. Oh, sorry. With you, as you feel that, and you see this thing roar out to you,
Mm-hmm.
that you don't, you certainly don't feel the peace you've long been searching for to try and get some idea of your previous lives, which you've been trying to access. But in the sound of that deafening roar and looking into the gaze of those glowing, baleful eyes, a vision, a realization comes over you in an instant of something from your predecessor. You see with the eyes of Ginugak for just a split second as it looked up into another creature, even larger, older than this. And the realization and the word forms in your mind. Troll.
And as those semi-ethereal, but still on some level physical claws rakes at me, and while not lifting me, even this creature is not strong enough to straight up lift a being like me. It launches me several feet backwards as the gashing rake upon my chest and arm just throws me backwards, and I land on my back. And then as I almost crash into the dirt, dragging myself backwards with the momentum, that realization comes to me. And I, in my slow movement, turn over to my chest. I let go of my bow as I drag myself to what remains of the campfire and our camping equipment. But I have not uttered a sound from my own voice yet, just mutely took that blow as I flip over and crawl over there.
Well, Abachov basically, he's gonna shout at the first. He feels that horrible scraping thing going so deep into the muscles of its back, and it's like it's a pain like he could never even inflict upon himself. And then he looks at the beast trying to destroy Toholix, the only thing that has brought him any kind of peace in his last cycle, in his last chains. And he immediately has the thought that whatever happens, he needs Toholix to survive. And he shouts,
Toholix! Run! Run! Run!
And as he runs, he's gonna Avachov is gonna run, instead of going towards the direction that he was going before. He's gonna go like in between the legs of the beast, after the beast already like crouched forward to try and grab it, and those like in between the legs of the beast. And I know this is gonna happen on the next turn, but he's gonna actually go at the back of the beast to take a rock, and you know, he's actually running like to be far away from it, but actually he's gonna try to take a rock to distract the beast from chasing Tehulix. But that's his mind as he runs.
That's right. You get through you try to crawl away from the creature as that roar is still ongoing, and it's about to, you know, bring death down upon you, Avachav. But you both hear and you see another baying cry of absolute terror from some forest creature. You see a strange reptilian beast of 6 legs, about the size of a draft horse, perhaps a large creature. Who knows what it is? But fleeing from this utter noise, but, you know, landing in the chaos here, and the creature, the troll, looks away to that large reptilian thing, and just reaches out, grabs its sinewy neck, and crushes. You hear the snapping and popping of bones as it lifts it up into the air and throws it into a nearby tree, knocking the tree totally down. The ripping and tearing of roots you hear again, and the snapping of wood as it wrenches its hand free, dripping now with blood. You see this horrendous display as this occurs. Tehulix.
I crawl towards the campfire, what remains of it, some smoldering embers here, there, and there, and I see the material we used to keep the fire lit, some fat and oil over there that we have taken from animals to help, you know, stir the blaze. And I take that material and I lather myself in it, just smashing the oil and the fat and rubbing it over my chest and area and drawing it down towards the iron upon the leg. For I remember in that moment, in that eldritch lore from my past lives, they fear the flame. And I almost smash with my own clawed granite fist upon my iron leg to produce sparks to make fire and make myself into a torch, so that it may not strike me. And I start burning.
Okay. You see Tehulix go up like a living torch. Perhaps he is the one blessed by Morgul. Ah. Okay. You're fine for right now, for this action because of that. Avachav, you see this. You see that horrendous and prodigious strength required to lift this thing the size of a horse and throw it through a tree, snapping necks with just one arm. You are behind it now. But this thing stands 16 feet tall, perhaps even a bit higher. See upon the shoulders, the collarbone, on the ribs, behind the elbows, along the knuckles, the knees, the calves. Wicked bone spurs protruding from multiple locations. The skin is not like that of yours or even of orcs, which you have seen having that kind of wood-like texture, but more almost like a dried quality, like of excessively dried leather, so much that it is brittle and forming something akin to scales, or scaly-like skin, as it were. That face, you can now see the full breadth of it, and the rows and rows of wicked, sharp teeth which curve out and like hooks which hook backwards into the mouth of this thing. Massive horns, the shape of rams, but far larger than any natural sheep.
Okay. To be honest, I originally thought that the face alone was like 15 feet. So now I'm that's why I just
No, it
imagined
is not
it was-
a. It is
Yeah,
not
yeah,
a
yeah.
100-foot tall giant.
Yeah. Okay. He does look. That's why not even a roll, but he does look like he could be less than 800 pounds in weight. Given I think he's kind of very thin.
I don't know. Sure. Yeah. Kind of.
Sure. Okay. Fuck everything. Did I see him like squirm as Tahulix lit himself on fire?
No, this thing is frenzying. This this creature, you don't know what it is, looks to be absolutely enraged and just devouring and destroying everything in its path. Not
Okay. Yeah,
if
I'm
it
gonna
has
try
a reaction to Tahulix, it's impossible to tell. It's already
Okay.
berserk.
Well, then okay. The book says, tell me if there's any damage modifier. The book says that athletics can be used to hurt someone by throwing rocks at them. What would be the damage modifier of a rock?
I'm gonna say the damage modifier isn't gonna be anything, but I'm gonna say
I mean, the largest I can take at the same time throw and shit.
I mean, there's some rocks nearby the campfire, like you put on the outskirts of the fire. But yeah, I'm gonna say you take a -3 penalty to your attack roll, and it'll do. I don't know. Let's see if it hits. I don't want to look it up.
Yeah. Okay.
Shouldn't say that on air, but I don't.
Okay. I mean, maybe you mean to the damage, not to the attack roll. I don't know.
I'll look it up. Just make a roll. And
Okay. Okay. Sure. I mean, there's no specifics for that in the book. Of course, look it up. But yeah, it only says that it can be used to hurt, and so it's the kind of thing that the flame tender decides.
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you what's the total number of that.
I'm not even gonna evade. I'm not even gonna evade.
Yes.
I'm not gonna try to evade. So you hit with that roll, even with any penalties you do.
Sure. Okay. Then that's gonna be 6 in damage, straight.
Okay. So describe.
Given you didn't hit, I was trying to call its attention because I'm trying to. In my head, I have no idea of the fire. I just see the frenzy shit. I know Tahulix is slow as fuck. So I'm thinking I need this guy to follow me instead of Tahulix. And right now I'm extremely damaged, but I still can command my muscles. I still can move. I still can. So I get a rock, the size of my head, and I go and I spin, like 2 times, and then I go and the rock goes to the air, and it boom goes directly to the head of that heinous, huge, tall thing, and I go, and I start running just after I do that shit. And trying, of course, that shit to follow me, but,
That's fine. Yeah. Yeah, you throw this thing, this stone, and you get a clean hit, but to your despair, the massive horns, the bone protrusions, and whatever scaly exterior this creature has, does not no satisfying crunch of bone, no spray of blood, no thud as the body hits the floor, unconscious or dead, but completely undisturbed as this thing appears. It looks right at you, and it charges. So as you both flee into the woods, the crashing of snapping of trees behind you, and you see this happen to Holix. Perhaps you're right. Perhaps the flame has terrified this thing, as it roars and turns around and plows into the woods. This troll, this ancient being, after Abachov.
I observe as it runs away far, far faster than me, as I look towards my damage and see my burning form, not feeling any pain or I'm hurt by it, at least not yet anyway. But I see it chase Avachov, and at that moment I hear a snapping of the leather straps of my quivers upon me. As my ammo just falls to the ground, the bow lying next to a tree as it was thrown from my grip by the first slash. And I look down upon my leg, and a fleeting moment of anger comes to me. I can't chase it. I can stalk it, but I can't chase after. And I look towards the large tracks, and I follow them with my incredibly slow gait of speed 7 as I walk like a burning torch through the forest.
And you do, with as much speed as you can muster, your flaming exterior casting illumination upon the massive footfalls of this creature, and of Avachov as well. Even his massive footprints are dwarfed by this creature. And you can hear in the distance still the sounds of ruinous rampage occurring, of roars. You hear the fearful, absolutely panicked, a sound that very few have heard, the sound of an ogre in abject terror, fleeing for his life from a greater predator than he. You try your best to keep going, to catch up, but your speed, the weight of your legs, and of the injury of your silvered false limb prevents you. And the sound grows more fainter and more distant with every step. And after a time, the oil you have doused yourself in is consumed, leaving you blackened and charred with the remnants of that fire upon you. You can't keep up. You don't know what's happened.
I keep tracking.
Okay. I'm not even going to make you roll for it. The signs are impossible to miss, as whole trees are uprooted, branches are torn like twigs from their trunks, earth is upturned, and you still, at this point, all you can hear is silence. No calls of wildlife. You keep traveling for perhaps another 20 minutes before you see a deep, the tree line breaks for a moment. You see a deep ravine, a narrow crevasse, which in the darkness you can't see the bottom of, even with your preternatural senses. You see some bit of scree. It's not a totally sheer drop, but a deadly one nonetheless. The tracks end here. No more sounds of roaring or crying out can be heard. You see that trail of blood, still hot, ogre blood, hot with rage and with panic. But you see no bodies.
I look around with the ghostly eyes aroused, trying to see if there are ghosts nearby in need of vigil.
Nothing.
Do I find any way to climb down here, or is such a thought impossible?
With your ruined leg and your weight, probably not.
I stay there on that cliff looking down, now black and charred and ugly, the tint of gold diminished utterly upon my horns. May you find sleep, Mavachov. May your next life be worth living. I remain there for until morning at the very least, until dawn. Just standing there like the blackened statue I am.
And we change the scene. So we leave Taholix to his vigil. To a far more upbeat environment. Nesvog, you and your growing friendship with your companion, your tender of a sort, you leave the homestead of the along the coast, having had quite a revelry this past evening. The first glimpses of real, or sensations of real community you felt for some time as you make your way back to the longhouse, as she insists it has to have to get back. The moons are quite high in the sky, and partying for quite some time. Hospitality of humans is quite a thing, it seems. You make it back to the longhouse. And slightly inebriated, but not so much so to perhaps embarrass her or give her punishment. She turns to you, beaming with a white smile. I can't remember the last time I've had such fun. I believe I like this place. It is strange, but there are good people here.
It grows on me as well. There are some things here worth saving.
And she exchanges a glance with you. Well, Have you seen? I guess my master has not yet returned from the. I don't know where he went to see the knights, I believe. But will I see you tomorrow? Will you be around, or do you and he have business?
If we do, then I will be here, and I will see you once more. Do not worry. I look forward to it.
She smiles and despite herself yawns a little bit. She tries to suppress it, but it's quite a night.
Yes, you go sleep now.
Mm-hmm.
You must awaken early. You do not wish to disappoint the one who gave you the opportunity for such a wonderful evening.
And she does, as you turn away from her. You see Nali enter the common area, swishes her tail slightly. I see you two had quite an enjoyable day, it would seem. Where did you go?
We went to the docks. I showed her the might of the ships down at the docks. I showed her some of the treasures of the sea, yes. And then I showed her some of the town. We visited my friends, the Hain, Jaruk, his wives. We have nice dinner.
Good. My husband and I have just returned, in fact, from our business this evening, and she's, changed. Not that you saw her, but she's changed out of her diplomacy, her resplendent garb she had put on for making those first impressions for her audience. He is resting. It's quite an intriguing conversation we had. Your presence is quite the talk amongst our recent visitors. It seems the knights have great interest in you. Do you know why?
This is what I would ask you. Do they say why they are looking for me? Yes?
I did not wish to pry too much. You are your own woman, as you no doubt are aware. Your business is your own, though we offer you such hospitality as we do. I am not entirely sure, but it seems there is some strangeness with those siren communities you had alluded to earlier today. There's some disturbance. I do not know the nature of which. I did not pry upon such affairs, but the three knights, this Ushia, wishes to speak with you, and perhaps the others as well, the other two, or even the orc who commands this town, these lands. Have you heard of such things? When we last spoke of it, you did not seem all that interested in talking about your home or the tribes of Sirens who live by the Isles of Deflection, but seems something is going on.
So, as she's talking, I mean, as we first come in and we're saying our goodbyes and stuff like that, I'm just beaming, extraordinarily content and satisfied, and so she's just just like you can tell just by her body language that she's like, for the first time, she's like in a long time, she's just relaxed. But as soon as Natalie starts coming out and she starts talking about all this nonsense, like all like the memories of everything that came before she went back to the longhouse and came out and had their day of fun. All that starts rushing back, and she immediately starts tensing up a little bit. She shifts her posture a little bit to be standing a little bit straighter, and her her beaming shark smile just like completely flattens out completely. I know that darkness touched my own home. I do not know what happened to the others, but this is unfortunate. Is the one who you spoke with, is the filthy snake?
She suppresses a smile at that. No. I know whom you speak, but the other, the female, the naiad, do you know that word? Have you heard of their kind? I believe perhaps you have not seen them, but perhaps you have, as they are creatures of the water, of Leviathan. No. It is she. The Oak Knight, Lady Ushia, is her name. They will send a missive for you, I believe soon, upon the morrow, I would suspect, to seek audience with you. At least she. I do not know of the others, the Typhon or the Sprite. I am unsure if they wish to speak with you as well, but you should, looking at your obvious, guileless change in mood, you wear your emotions right on your sleeve. You should be cautious when you visit her. Sometimes a certain decorum is called for amongst such people. The pride of nobility is a fickle and dangerous thing, you understand.
So they are not to kill me then? This is no trap?
No, they would not. I do not believe they would do such base things to you. However, there are dangers in this world which are more subtle than that of predator and prey, that of physical violence, of a claw or a fang upon your throat.
This is easy for you to say. And I gesture at she's 7 feet tall with enormous teeth, gigantic claws.
For sure. Just be careful what you say and how you say it. For every word that you speak to another can be used, if you are not careful, against you in time. Every bit of yourself that you share, you must be cautious that it is shared with someone you trust, lest they use it to hurt you. But I do not wish to speak ill of the knights of these lands, for their hospitality has shown us great kindness as well. But I do not know them as I know you, my dear Nazvok. I would not wish for there to be any misunderstandings.
How must I deal with this what you say, not yet. Yes. Then how must I speak to it? Does it have customs I must adhere to?
You should bow and give the supplication that is her right. These people are the rulers of these lands, and as long as we wish to remain amongst them, we must abide by such governance. We must show proper respect to those whom authority is higher. It will not go well, and moods would sour if we did not. We do not wish this. And surely you do not wish this either. But
No, but I ask, how do I show this respect? Yes. Do they have customs like your people? Your people's customs different from our customs. What
she
must I?
nods then. Customs are not, I believe, a danger. Just they will ask you questions, Nazvog. Make sure you answer those questions truthfully, but in a way that does not give too much knowledge of yourself. I do not know if you understand my meaning, for you come from a different world than I. My home is a city full of merchants, aristocrats, barons, nobility. Your people come from the oceans, from Leviathan, and have a different culture. You wear what you feel upon your face. It is clear exactly who and what you are. If you are angry, you show it. If you wish vengeance or you are insulted, you show it. If you are happy, you show that too. That can be a freedom, but it is also a danger. But if you... it is difficult for me to explain. But if you've ever had someone betray you, if you've ever had someone take something from you, you would perhaps understand a bit more of what I speak. Do not let strangers take advantage of you, Nesbar. I would protect you if I could, but it is not my place to go amidst there. I have already said my piece to her. But I suspect that this disturbance, whatever they speak of, is of more importance than she let on, at least to me. If you know anything that might explain what they detail to you, tell them, but just be careful you don't tell them too much. I'm sorry. You will have to learn what that means yourself. But you
I cannot tell them that. I cannot tell them the truth with this. They know. They work with the Typhon. They bring it. They say, you have a parade. You have march with honor. You come with us. The Typhons are the ones who do these things. I cannot say, oh yes, the Typhons. They come. They kill our towns. They come. They attack us. I cannot say this. They're fools.
Well, sometimes it's best to have a liar close to your side. Because at least you can always rely upon a liar to tell falsehoods. There's no love lost amongst myself to the serpents as well, but we must play the part. That is the way of this land. But I do not wish to sour your mood too much, young Nazvog. I just wish to tell you what comes, lest it surprise you.
Thank you
Now
for
you
these.
know. I will pass along the missive once it comes. They will be sending it here to the Longhouse.
Thank you.
That would
I
be,
appreciate these.
yes.
I must go now. So like I'm gonna go like right out the door because like immediately, yep, I'm not sleeping here tonight. There's no way I'm gonna be able to fall asleep now. Wonderful.
Mhm.
Like I thought, like maybe I might be able to, relax, sleep here after my nice day. Nope. So I'm going to go and head out to my grotto.
So as
bring
you
Sam
do,
along.
yeah, give me a perception check as you do.
All right. Not bad. That is 12.
Okay. As you're leaving the Longhouse, a bit more dejected and on edge, that feeling, just, maybe an hour past of such things, you take Sanem. She's exhausted, having had quite a day as well. Her coos and cries are not heard. You have her with you in your satchel. As you walk towards the beach, you see those fields. It's nighttime now, obviously. Those rolling fields. The breeze passes over you, your face. You look to your left along those rolling hills, and you see your eyes sort of pass over before, like, well, that wasn't there before. You see in the distance, standing alone in the empty field of one of the distant farms, is a singular figure, tall but narrow, almost like a caricature of a humanoid, shall we say. He's cloaked in a drab canvas robe and a wide hat upon its head. And it stands almost sort of motionless in the middle of the field here. It's hard to pick out, like details. You're not up close. It's like several, 100 feet away. As you are walking away, you see it's completely sort of statuesque and motionless. And you see, just as you linger your gaze on it, its head just turns and looks in your direction. And though you can't see its eyes really, you feel its gaze on you, and you know it sees you. And it's like it's not attacking you, or anything, it's just this eerie thing.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, so that's pretty weird. I'm not sure if that's something that I'm going to like. I'm not sure if it's the sort of thing that I want to be afraid of. So I'm just gonna keep going at a measured pace because I don't want to show I'm actually afraid of this thing. I don't want to give it any tips. So I'm just gonna try to keep going play it like everything's cool and hope that everything is cool, because like my heart's like already like kind of like beating like really rapidly. Like I can feel it in my chest like as I sort of tense up a little bit, but I'm doing my best to just like keep it cool and make sure that that I don't give off the sense that I am prey, if this is the sort of thing that is coming, like looking to prey upon someone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And nothing happens, but you feel the pressure of eyes on the back of your head all the way down to the beach until you submerge yourself in the water.
so once I get to the beach, I'm going to turn around again, just like, because like, she is scared, but she's like, all right, well maybe it's not behind me, so I can like look behind me.
And you don't see anything behind you,
Okay.
and you can't see the field where it was.
Right, yeah.
As you're
But I mean, at least this way I know that I'm not being followed or something like that. So
yeah, you don't see anything behind you, but
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a little bit better, I guess.
right.
And so yeah, now I'm gonna go swim out to my grotto
Mhm.
and stay awake all night. If nothing happens to me on the way, I am going to like go back, kind of like get Sanem in a position where she can just like lie down and sleep, because like she doesn't have to worry about all this nonsense. She needs her sleep, whether or not I'm going to be able to get it. And then I'm going to sit like facing the big clay pottery thing,
Mhm.
and I'm going to meditate on Helena and hope that I get some sort of like guidance for all this nonsense, because like serious stuff's going down. Like I don't know if this is a trap. Like just because Nali, they didn't like go and murder Nali. Like okay, well I mean she's 7 feet tall.
Right.
Like she had her
Yeah.
husband there with her. And so like while I'm meditating, I'm like weaving together dried seaweed of that long brownish with the green stripe along the middle. I'm weaving together pieces of that into rope and fitting that rope into a net that I've been working on while I'm doing my meditation. So it's like working on a prayer beads type jam, except I'm like making a net, because you always got to be productive. So I'm weaving, bending, making it tighter, weaving it into the net, going forward, continue moving as I am like sitting here rocking back and forth, and hoping that I can get some guidance on that.
Yeah, and you do that. You sit before this clay tablet inlaid with those various metals and minerals. You weave the strands of the seaweed into rope, and the knots grow, and the web takes form. And doing that, after a time, you don't even really need to look down. Like you're kind of like half in that sort of in between, like you're awake but you're not really. You're on autopilot as you lose yourself into that like meditative state. It's soothing in a way to weave this net, weave these ropes. The activity of it occupies the body and leaves the mind open. And as your mind is, you hear the the movement of legs upon the webs above the grotto here. You feel the presence of that spiritual creature that has spoken to you in the language of spiders, the spirit of Helena, who has spoken to you before and has given some meager guidance so far. But you look up, see 8 brilliant orange eyes looking down upon you approvingly of the simple meditations you are doing. It does not speak, but just watches. It lowers down the clay tablet for you. You may take it away if you wish to continue.
Okay, well,
meditations.
I wasn't sure if I was like getting a sense that it's there, or if like while I'm doing this, like it just kind of like is it obtrusive enough that I would notice it while I'm like focusing on meditating and weaving at the same time, or like because I imagine they're really quiet, so.
Yeah, they are, but it's like it was probably always there, but
Okay.
it's sort of like purposefully made like itself known to you.
Okay.
So that like it's appearing before you. Not that it wasn't here before and it's manifesting necessarily. It's just you're right. These things they're spiritual predators in a way, and they are incalculably stealthy, especially to mortals.
What is it?
What was that?
Oh, that was my phone. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Your mind is troubled. I can sense
Yes.
the tangles that weave not themselves. What have you seen in the surface above?
These people, they let Typhons rule them. Now, one who rules the Typhon, she calls for me. She wishes to know, Nazbok. What do I say to this? This one who would employ the vile serpents, huh?
You are correct. They are snakes, and they are predators. And they will take from you, even when you do not see their hands move. With a word, they can kill or wound more so than any dagger. They can weave lies or treachery or alter truth that it fits their own stories and leaves their enemies in ashes. You must gather your wits if you are to survive in this land, for there are more than just one Typhon. There are, as you know, many enemies here, though not all, as you have learned. Look upon the tablet you have found. Meditate upon your rope making. Open your mind and let such troubles fall away. Only by doing so will you have the clarity, the force, the mental force to analyze the challenges which lay ahead of you. And she kind of, the spirit like almost glides, it moves along the ceiling, down the wall. This thing is like, it's a massive spider.
Yeah.
A tower, towers over you, but you don't, even though this thing is vicious looking, clearly a masterful predator, you don't feel that kind of intimidation. I mean, you recognize it for what it is, but this is some kindred sensibility you can feel. I mean, obviously it's speaking to you and has been for some time. There are spirits who will come to this place. I can feel them. I do not know to which their allegiances lie, but more eyes fall upon this land. For good or for evil, I don't know.
We shall show them the good way. We shall show them the right way. Yes?
And it doesn't respond, and it doesn't have a face, a head to nod, but low, thrumming of the vocal cords of acknowledgement. You can sense.
I try to show the people here the right way. They learn slowly, but they will learn.
They will learn. The Spider Queen has chosen you for great things and has Valkanashed. And you feel the gaze, those 8 eyes, though they don't move, turn nevertheless to the sleeping form of your infant daughter. Change soon comes. You both will be the herald of great things. If you are canny. Now, focus upon the strands. Weave your net. As it like looms over you, kind of like crouches like over you. And the spirit, as you do so, whispers words unintelligible, but you almost feel certain concepts making a bit more sort of sense to you, as if these words, these sounds, it's not a language, or if it is, it's not one that you know, or one that resonates upon your mind as well as your ears. You feel such a greater grasping of the concepts of things which Helena cares best about, of the need for order, of how things connect to each other, and how that connection is itself order, is the great plan, glimpse of the great weaving, and of what your important purpose is here. And I'm going to ask you to make a meditation roll. Do you have any fortes in meditation?
No.
Okay.
Whoa, all right.
There you go.
Okay, I did pretty well.
Wow. Okay. I'll let you describe this.
All right, so that is 16, 28. That's 31.
Wow. Okay, So this is what's happening, and you describe it like, so you're doing your meditation. You're meditating upon Helena as you're doing this like automatic rope making. You're weaving the strands together to create this net, and of seaweed, and the spirit is sort of whispering, pouring some aspect of its influence into you as it does as you do so. But you can absolutely describe that wondrous opening of your mind as you meditate upon things.
All right. So yeah, so like I'm sitting here in front of this tablet, and I'm like just working faster and faster, just automatically, weaving ropes together, building this tight net, and I keep moving faster and faster, and like I physically start to feel warmer. Like I can feel a connection to the bare earth and stone around me, and I continue to get warmer and warmer, and this feels more like home to me than Ifapum does. I mean, Ifapum isn't it's a temperate area, but it's not like the slightly warmer seas around the Isles of Reflection further south. So I start feeling warmer. I feel the fire of Morgul, in me as I work. I feel the strength and stability of the structure around me as I work, and I continue pulling these ropes around, tying these knots, making it tighter, and I start to see I frame everything in terms of these relationships with people. So I find all these people I know, and I can see represented in this net I'm making, oh, this is J.C. Wold's connection to Awol Wold. This is J.C. Wold's connection to Azad. This is Azad's connection to Nali. This is Nali's connection to Awa. And I continue going, and I start to grasp how everything fits together in my little section of the world here. And then I start bringing in all these outsiders. Well, here's the Typhon. How is this Typhon connected to these people? What are the relationships between these people? Why do these people work together? What happens if this knot is taken away? What happens if we cut out this knot and bring in something else from the outside? How is Tahalix involved? What are his connections? What are Abachab, the horrifying monsters connections to everyone else? And I start grasping the great interconnectedness of everything, and how slightly altering each different person, even slightly altering where they go or how they connect with someone else, will affect where and what they do. And I start I start to fully comprehend the true power of Helena, which is just putting the right people in the right places so that the right events will happen. And the warmth and stability of Helena burns through me as I'm doing this, and I feel like I'm actually not anxious right now. I have a complete connection, and I have a complete comfort with the plan. I know where I am in this plan, at least in this small section of the world, in this small part of the plan. And I have an idea of how I must do it. I just have to continue to watch, continue to learn, continue to pay attention, to move people and move them into the right places. They need to be part of the net, and they need to be the right part of the net so that the net can stay strong. And I just continue piling or working away at that as I'm basking in the glow of this, the spiritual glow of this tablet in front of me, as the massive spider watches on.
And you do that as all these things go through you. Whether you do this for minutes or hours, it's impossible. It feels like both, and yet even longer at the same time. And you open your eyes again. You're you blink. You're back in the grotto, and you see before you you've woven in this time as all this is going on, automatically this massive, this intricately woven and weaved net, almost like perfectly crafted, and you can see, or you recognize in the patterns of this net how the strands come together, how they represent all those things that that glimpse that you felt. You can sense that your mind like recalls those aspects in the patterns of the net, which itself resembles a spider's weave. You look back up to the spirit, and you can even see in this moment you're drenched in sweat, and you feel physical and mental exhaustion as all of this has happened in a matter of such moments. And you can even see almost imperceptible strands, not physical, but something behind the outer layer of what your normal perceptions are. You can see as this spider servant of Helena, each of its 8 legs balancing and dancing upon tiny hair-like strands, which shouldn't support the weight of such a creature, but with every movement, with every gesture, it pulls and manipulates and feels those strands of Helena's web, even here, with your presence, in the presence of this spirit. The first strands of that web begins to grow in this land, and speaks to you. Your mind is open. Your soul is ready. There is much you must learn, and much you must know. Helena has such things to teach you. You have the malleability and the adaptable mind to learn and to serve. You are ready. And with that, it's in an instant that spider lunges at you and sinks its fangs into your collarbone at the instant of the and you immediately fade to blackness. And with that, we will change scenes. It is morning. The dawn's light has already dissipated for several hours, and Ahura Mazda has almost reached its zenith in the sky. There are clouds in the distance, but perhaps they'll be here by this afternoon, maybe tomorrow. But for now, things are sunny and warm. And Radulov, we find you in your home on the outskirts of town, on the far side of this community, past the rolling hills which serve as mushroom farms and malachite mines, which Azad has examined previously, past that strange temple of Mithraxu, of standing stones and of ropes and ribbons tied to the tops of each of those great menhirs, past the communities beyond of satyrs, past that strange circular structure which Knight of the West Kurala tends to his artists and artisans. Past all of that, it's a single stone home. And inside, we find you. And I will let you describe your house, describe yourself before we progress with the scene.
Okay, so Rajulot Logartho Ugathea. He stands 4 feet 3 inches tall. He's very known for his smile to those that know him, because he has one teeth made of iron for a replacement his father did when he was little. For his parent, strangely enough, as it was the blacksmith, he actually was good with prosthetics of iron, and he has a family history of iron work and of especially iron engravement. And you can see in the house, it actually looks similar to the huts of several orcs, but instead of having the wood that similar like orc homes have like these wood and these skins and these furs, and they are mostly like put on the like a kind of burrow with this wood all around. But his home is it's a very small one. Instead, where it would normally be like the wood, there's stone, very well crafted, like bricks of stone, one on top of the other. But there's still like the furs on the just on the there's still like the furs and the burrow part of the house. And as he comes out of his house, I mean, the face it's right now, it's not smiling as he's usually known for. He's had some rough days lately. He looks like annoyed at the race of Ahura Mazda, and he looks at another house just at the right of his. That house belonged to his father, but his father is no longer around. That house is the only house that you probably can see around this place, or one of the very few, which actually looks like a proper Faerun house, with its stone bricks completely. You know, there's no wood, there's no furs in places that there shouldn't be. There's no of that none of that brutish orc designs. But he knows that this house, it's no longer either his father nor his mother. It's not his own either. Painful memories come back to his head. The Kermek still on his stomach, on his tongue, so sour right now, so unpalatable after the feast and after the fall. He tries to get away from those thoughts as he looks around again and see what is around him on this morning.
As you think back to that time, not too far in the past, that immediately is followed by a sinking feeling as you are looking over your stores, your supplies, and they are to the brim. So as you gained this house upon such tragedy, so much of what little you already had was expended, and you find yourself this morning for the first time having to come face to face and acknowledge the fact that you are going to have to do something. You don't even have any, maybe a few days left of food. Of course, you have your brilliant and wonderfully crafted craftsman's tools of wonderful iron, but without supplies to use them upon what use are they? If you have nothing to barter with, what can you hope to achieve? You're even low upon food to keep yourself sustained at this point, much of it having been utilized in that feast that you recall, the last remnants. And with that realization, you can have a brief look about.
The taste of the Kermit, the taste. I look around. There's this tool. There's this tool. These are tools I used when I was a child. There's no of the engraved tools that I used to have. There's no of the. Oh, I see a glimmer.
The sound of metals starts, like clanking all around as I look on a stone box, and I look just at the bottom, and then I sigh with shame and anger. It's not mine. I already swore it to the keeper of the tavern, and I must go there to give it to him, just like the house next to me is now of the tavern. Of the keeper of the tavern, where we bought all that alcohol, extremely strong even for Ferrum, for almost only Ferrum drink it. I take the hammer, and it's a hammer engraved with a word. It's actually golden instead of metal, but it's not mine. It's not mine because I must give it to Fexa, the satyr that was giving us drinks, and someone I know well.
With this, you hear a knock upon your door.
I'm going.
Radulov!
Yeah. Yes, I'm going.
The voice? Do I recognize it?
This is the voice of Pietro Knox.
Oh, why you knock at this time? I could be asleep. Trying to wake me up. You think if you wake me up, I'll be left wrathful, huh? I open the door. Ah, that's what you're trying.
What are you
I
doing,
know what
Radulov?
you're trying. I know what your people did to my people. Ah, what you trying?
I say to Pietro. And we have this competitive kind of thing. He's kind of more submissive, but he knows that I'm kind of joking, kind of serious when I say these kind of things.
He looks at you with that. He realizes that, but he is a little bit sort of perturbed. Come on now, Radulov. It's almost high noon. Hurrimas is almost at its zenith in the sky.
What?
Now, help me with these bushels. Help me. This is all that my father will train.
I forcefully I push him out of my entrance to properly see the place, and it's like,
you come here to throw that in my face. That I was sleeping. I wasn't working. Well, let me tell you, I have no work to be crafting right now, so I can sleep.
And then I look back at the hammer, and the hammer is engraved in gold. It says, "Good deal."
I have things to do. Well, talk fast.
Have you already forgotten, Radulov, or are you already so drunk from your festivities before? You gave the last bits of your inventory to my father for trade, for food and for some additional supplies. This is all that he can barter with you for. It is in his mind, a fair price. This is all there is. I'm sorry. I could not get more, but my father's word is law. Then you see he has a
Absolutely.
couple bushels of wheat, some like canvas sacks of some bits of food, and some small, like not like big wine barrels, but like small casks of wine are here. Yeah, some meager bits of food that might sustain you for a little while longer, but it's not enough. It's maybe about like
Do I know if it's a good deal? Because probably I made I could
Roll me a- roll
I
me a
could very
praise.
well. A streetwise could make sense, but if you want to praise what the
or
blacksmithing,
sorry, no, yeah. So this is food stuff. You could, yeah, that's fine. You can do a
streetwise.
streetwise.
Okay,
That's fine.
let's go. That's 10 plus 7 plus 3, 10 plus 10. I think that's a 20. Let me confirm. 8. Yes, that's a 20 in total.
So when I was drunk, did I made a good deal even drunk, or was I too wasted?
Well, so you gave what you remember giving some last bits of your stock, which were some repaired farming tools to Pietro to give to his father to maybe try to barter for some additional, food, and that's where you are right now. That's the status that you've sort of been reduced to, having to trade your goods just for food to keep keep your house in order. And with a 20, it's a fair deal. Like you're not getting shafted, but you're it's within the bounds of what could be considered appropriate, but right on the edge.
I know how to handle this immediately. I look at Pietro, like I look at him and I say,
Pietro, you who said you wanted to be my friend, you come to me and you say, oh, let's be friends, we don't have to have the problems of our races. Pietro, this is just a fair deal. You know,
and I point to my chest.
I just lost my father. I just lost my mother. You just, is this the way a friend acts? Yeah, okay, I understand what friend means to you humans. I understand what friend means. Yeah, this is a fair deal, I say, as I pat his shoulder. This is a fair deal. So yes, come, let's take this thing. Yeah, sure, why don't you just take it as a fair deal? Fair, huh? Yeah, I know how fair you are. I remember, Bale. Take your stuff.
Don't blame it on me, Rajula. I only did what you asked me to. I gave the tools to my father, and he made the call.
Yeah,
Not my place. But he helps you get the the stuff into your house. Every little bit helps, but that forge is going to be cold for a while, as it stands right now. So what are you going to do?
Well, I look at the hammer. I think I have to give this to Fetza, I hope. I don't know in what kind of conditions he is right
But
now.
don't give it to him. He's, you know what he is. You talk to me about a fair deal. You get shafted. You talk to him. What is he going to use that hammer for anyway? He makes ale. He makes and barters in the orc wine. What need does he have for a golden hammer, a blacksmith's hammer?
Oh, gold always shines. Yeah, gold shines. I don't know what need he has for it.
I don't
know
think
if he
you
just
get
take it. He would probably trade it, but maybe I can convince him to keep on that hammer.
What do you think he's
Keep
going
it
to
on.
give you for it? More beer? That's
He's
all
not
he
gonna
has.
give me anything for it. I already lost the hammer. I was with my father, and as we were getting drunk out of our minds because we lost our mother. We lost our mother. How would you feel if you lost your mother? Huh? Like you had any feelings for me. You say you are a friend, but no, that's okay. When it's up to you, I understand the father thing. I understand. I no longer have a father, but yeah, I understand your father's word is law. When it's up to you, I want to see how much of a friend you are. But yeah, he has no use for this. But we already gave it to him. I already told him I had to give it to him. This is already his, so there's nothing to argue about. I have to go
Are
give
you
him
sure
this.
you said that, or did you imagine it? In a
I'm
drunken
sure.
stupor.
I'm sure.
All right, if you say so.
Or what? You think you can have? You think you can have? No, this is not for human.
I don't want it. What am I going to use it for?
Are you saying this has no worth? I
No.
made this myself. No, you know what? No, it's okay. I'm emotional. I'm emotional because I lost my parents. I'm being stupid. Yeah,
I'm just
sorry.
saying-
You're a good friend, Pietro. No, you're a good friend.
You
Pietro,
know,
you're a good friend.
I
I need
hate
to
to
leave
tell
now.
you,
This is not
Rajula, but
Do you have a?
you
Do you
have
have a
like
fair?
barely enough food here to last you through the cycle.
Yeah.
If you try to barter anything else with that satyr, the only thing he can give you is alcohol, and that's not going to keep you alive, and that's not going to give you any additional supplies to
I can be
get
alive
back on
in
your
rock.
feet.
Let me tell you, that's something you guys don't have. But let me tell you, I can eat rocks, son. I can eat rocks.
Oh, well, you'll be fine then. Maybe you should give it to him.
Yeah, they have no taste. But when I need something for taste, then I'll do some work and I get
Now, why
some
don't
more.
you eat that hammer then? I'm sure that's nutritious for you. That would
That's
probably
a
serve
low
you.
joke. No, that's a low joke. No, you know what? I don't wanna talk more with you, Pietro. I'm angry right now. I would say some things that would really put you out for some work. No. I will not talk to you, Pietro. Go on. We will discuss later. Further deals.
Why do you give the hammer to that strange?
No. Stop. Stop.
What?
You say you eat my own craft. What do you think I do? What do you think I do? You think I do candies like the frame that extract the essence from the flowers, make hard, sweet things that you can lick? Now you don't even know about those things. But I'll tell you in another time. I know you like to learn. Yeah. Well, no. This is not candy. This is not food. This is a great piece of craftsmanship. And let me tell you something about Pexa. Whether he sells this or not, he knows. He knows how much this was worth to my father and how much it's worth to me. That's what I tell you. And he wouldn't tell me to eat it.
All right.
Like I would be shitting gold. Yeah. Let's talk later, Pietro. Let's talk later.
All right, Rajula. Hey,
And I go
So-
on my way towards the tavern of Pexa.
Okay. So this is there are no inns as such except for one in Ifapum. This is more of it's a drinking hall, to be sure, a place. It is not a temple to Bacchus, although there are as is customary for such places, there are images of goats or heads upon the walls here, showing respect for Bacchus to keep the wine and the ale and the beer flowing. But it is a wooden structure like many satyr buildings. long and one-story tall structure. Not far from your home, a bit further towards the hills, closer towards the community. There are not many people here right now as it is morning, but there's always work to be done, no matter who you are and where you are in the home, and you soon find the man you're looking for, as well as many of his family and individuals who serve at this place, bringing in casks and barrels and taking old ones out to be reused, or old ones to be mulched and thrown to the fields as bits of fertilizer. You see him. It's it's a somewhat tall, for his species, satyr, of course, with a lustrous kind of auburn-colored hair and fur upon his goat legs. His hooves are have like designs etched upon them with like white chalk. You see some little bits of embellishment that he takes to adding, one of his eccentricities. He wears a sort of tunic, sparse, doesn't cover much, as is the custom of satyrs, but enough to add a dash of color and pizzazz to his features and his form. He sees you coming from in the distance and, "Hey,
Hey,
Rajuloth, how are you?"
well, kind of still processing the Kermit. That was good Kermit.
I know. I don't drink that stuff, though. But
Oh, I know you.
your
You
father
would
was
be.
quite a fan. Well, I don't know which divinity he followed, but may they take him into their graces. He was
To
a good
whom?
man, your father.
Yes.
Oh,
No fear of that. No fear of that.
no.
No fear.
Now then, what
But,
can I do for you, Rajuloth?
oh well. I remember I show him the hammer, and I look like elsewhere, like I'm completely ashamed. I actually, gave this away for drink, and I like show it and give it away.
He
But I give my gaze away as I show.
he takes it and like feels the heft in his hands, and kind of like moves it around. It's a blacksmith's hammer. You hear a crash, like and he uses the hammer to like crack open a cask. This is not what this hammer is used for at all, but like to get the remnants of wine and bits of fluid to be drained before the barrel can be reused for something else. I don't need this, Rajuloth. I know you promised it to me, but I already have I have your house. I don't need anything further for you. I'll keep it in good order. I'll keep it, standing as not that I would it would need my care. Your people's stable gift for masonry. Can't say I'm quite a fan of the design of it, but it's a sturdy building, that's for sure. Maybe you can barter it back for me one day.
Yes. Yes, I was thinking. I was thinking precisely that. Yes.
But
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not going to be able to do that without without this. And he sort of holds it, in his hand like, "You've given me more than enough, Radulov, and your father was a good man, and he will be missed." He tosses it back to you like he doesn't really even need it or want it. It's a fine blacksmith hammer for sure, but what am I going to use it for? You might have better luck with someone else if you wish to barter that, but I don't think that's going to help you out in the long run. Sure, it'll fetch many parcels of goods. Might even give you a cycle's worth of food, but if you don't have your tools, you're not going to be. My father always said, how did the phrase go? If you give a man a fish, you'll feed him for a day, but if you teach a man to fish, he'll never go hungry. My father said that. It's a true story. I don't know if it's true.
I believe that because I think you can't eat rocks, but it's better because it's a flavor. Yeah.
I wouldn't eat them even if I could, but you'll have, I think, better luck maybe applying your services. Surely there's some other farmer here, someone else who needs their tools mended, who needs new spades, rakes, new pitchforks, or pickaxes.
Yeah, there's always farmers who need help with their little petty tools. Yeah, there's always that. Right now I need something bigger. I need something, and I sit like I try to sit, and he probably is used to like helping me a bit, like trying to sit on these chairs that are a bit tall for me. I just need like a very gentle push because most of the work is mine as I am heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, okay. Yeah, well, the thing is, I need something big. This is not gonna go away just repairing some farmer pitchforks and no, I need something big. You were telling me about that guy and the tiger people. They came to town. A lot of good things were coming from that.
That's what he said, and he came by last chain. He's an interesting man. He gives quite an impression. If you've seen him, he looks.
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't get too close. Your eyes might fall right out of your head. I see how you look with the every time the ceremony is
and then
set
after
forth.
I say that, I I lower my tone and I'm like, oh, okay, no works around here. Okay.
But no, they have a siren with them too. One of their servants, I hear. They say, I wish I was there for her. They say she miraculously sang all the crabs to the shore. All the fishermen are all in an uproar about it. It's quite a wondrous sight indeed. And it left quite an impression. I believe his. I assume. Well, I don't know, but another one of them came by. Not too far after, and I think I'll give them a few shipments of my stock and see where it might lead. Definitely intrigued by what they say. They definitely have more wealth than you do, my friend. You might be able to have better luck with them. They have enough gold on their person. Your father might leap right out of his grave.
Oh yeah, he may. Maybe if I just pile enough gold, he'll just leap out of his grave. But that'd be gold I work for. He told me that thing I have just at the side of his house. He told me you make that, and then like I lower my voice. You make that stinking ogre house into a proper farmhouse with your spare time. That's yours. I could not even. So working under so many craftsmen, I have not even concluded that work. I, man,
Well,
you know, the
that man
soul.
and his people, they may just have enough of it. I don't know that I could even walk under the weight of all that jewelry. Uh, they're in the longhouse. It used to be it used to be the barn of Cantus and the other. Like I don't like talking about them, but you know.
Oh,
The one they
yeah,
used to call me,
yeah.
damn.
Oh, they're there?
Yes, I understand they're building a house up upon the hill. But I don't know much
Oh,
about it, but
oh,
that's where
they're building a house.
I don't know. I don't go
Oh,
over there.
they're building a house. They're gonna need me.
Hmm.
I've heard about these people with
I
the
don't know about
carriage
that,
and about you don't know about that. You thought it was masonry with this hammer. Of course you don't know about that.
Well,
Of course you know about wine. You know about Kermit. You know about those very well. That I give you. You don't know about that. Trust me. If they're building something, they're gonna need me. They're gonna need me because I've heard they have good taste. You know, around here, anyone coming with good taste, that's something new. Yes, I said it, something new. What's wrong with you people?
most people here are used to your strange eccentricities and your grumpy behavior, and they don't even fucking Rajula again going. But you do what you want, my friend. But now you know where they are if you wish to speak to them. But there's always a farmer who needs a tool being mended. So keep at it, and you'll be all right in time.
Yeah, that's never gonna go missing. If anything, Rikev might need some tool mended, you know? It's never gonna go missing. Yes. Okay. Yeah, thanks for the tip. Oh, okay. I look at my hammer, golden hammer. It isn't really even something I use for building. It's just like an honorary, you know, when you're building you use iron, not gold, but you know, the hammer, the goodwill hammer. And I look back at Fexa. Thanks Fexa. I'm glad I can still keep this hammer.
Yeah, if you really want to give me thanks, why don't you help me with these barrels?
Oh, yep. I can handle it with those barrels. You have a proper hammer for those barrels, right? This is for all the things.
And as you get to work,
And
helping-
actually, I myself have, you know, I always go anywhere that I go. I have a pick, an axe, and a hammer for craftsman tools.
yeah, you have tools upon your person. But as you help your satyr companion, bring his stock inside, resupplying for the day. We shift the scene once again far to the south. To Holix, morning has come. No sign of movement.
And I've been keeping vigil on that cliff, looking down to that chasm. Perhaps with dawnlight and morning I can see if there is a tumbled corpse down there, but I doubt it. But still, a glimmer of hope made me stay and observe.
And unfortunately, to whatever emotion your strange mind experiences, you see and hear nothing, whether in this life or across the veil.
I remain still. I feel the wind upon my rocky exterior. Have a good next life, Avachov. I hope. I hope. And I walk around, turn back the way I came, still looking at these great marks in the ground, the big tracks and the dried blood from the rampaging trampling this great troll made. I observe the swath it cut through the forest as I return that path, just taking in the extent of damage that was made by this creature hunting. And then when we return back to that ruined the campsite, I find my bow in a bush. I take it. My pouches and quivers and probably some of the arrows are busted. I looked, they were burning upon me, so I take out, the iron tips from them and break off the unusable shafts. And then those 2 golden arrows I have, the 1 silver arrow, the 1 steel arrow, and keep them saved with me. As I wobble back and make for the village, I need a forge to restore myself to a degree.
As you walk back, it takes even more time than it otherwise would for you, as you are quite wounded by the unstoppable force of this ancient being.
Yeah, and while I am not in the quick, I do look extraordinarily fucked up.
Indeed. And you see, as you get back to the town, obviously this is quite different from any place you have been before. There's not a place of much metallurgy, judging by the construction of these buildings. But you wander back, there is, upon a sort of man-made slight hill, or a bulge in the ground, there is a wide open area, hard packed dirt. And you see an open flame, wide, a huge sort of communal forge of sorts, where those with the know-how can make the meager tools and axes and such mundane things as to keep the community going. There is no blacksmith shop that you see. No, nothing indicating beyond this. You see a few people here, mainly heating up, looks like old rakes, hoes, and tools of various sorts, so that they could be not even reforged, just straightened out or the edge changed. There's only a couple people.
I almost stumble into this communal area, both because of my wounds and the unsteadiness of my leg after my growth spurt, so to say. I walk in there, damaged and burnt, and I look towards that flame, and I assume the anvils here are, made of stone, or do they actually have iron anvils here?
These are stone.
So I go in front of the flame closer than perhaps others would, because heat isn't that horrid to me, and I grab one of these anvil-esque stones and I almost tumble over into the flame of the slight bit away from it as I steady myself forward and I put this anvil stone in front of me, and then I lift that iron peg, that cylindrical poor prosthetic, and I almost drop it into the flame. I just stick my foot into the fire, waiting for it to be heated so I can bend it and hammer it into a better shape. And after like 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes of warming it up, it starts to take this reddish, dull glow. I remove it and put my prosthetic leg upon that anvil, and then with my fist work it into a better shape.
And it takes some time. The fire here has not been stoked to to as hot of a temperature as perhaps would be preferred. It certainly gets the job done, but let's see how well you do. Okay. So you do an okay job, but the low heat of the forge here and the fact that you're using your own hands to do this, the tools are not the best to do what you're trying to do, but it gets the job done. And as you are doing this, pounding, your own fists ringing out far louder than the other people here who are taken aback at what you are doing, fascinated and slightly horrified in equal measure, seeing this great stone man put his whole leg into the fire itself. No one has the the courage to really approach you, give voice to their queries. But as you, well, let's would you and Regulith roll perception checks?
Only Regula for both of us?
Both of you.
$17.
Okay. You're
15.
muted, Ella.
15.
Yep. Okay, so Regula, if you're going, to with eagerness to speak to these strange, exotic foreigners who are apparently building a new building. As you walk down the way from your home, from the drinking house of your satyr companion, you hear the loud ringing of stone upon metal, upon iron, far louder than the din that usually comes from that communal forge. Not nearly as good as your own or what you yourself could manufacture with your better tools and cycles of craftsmanship, of learning from your father and his father through stories of old, Ferrum artisanry. You look at that noise and you see this incredible figure of stone And you as well, Taholix, look up and see a strange sight you have not seen of Ferrum in this exotic land. You certainly, Taholix, know what species this is, whereas Regula, you perhaps have only heard stories.
Yeah, like when I see, I probably already, of course, you know, it's impossible. I definitely heard the rumor of what happened with the huge beast
Oh, you
and
did.
the stony creature. So when I say it, I go like, oh, 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 you, hey, and I like show my clean shaven. Hey, no problem with you. We have no problem, right?
I just
No.
move my face, looking towards you. Don't say a thing. Then I tend to take my fist and keep hammering upon my leg with both of them.
Oh, oh, oh! You have a problem there. Oh, okay. I could help you with that.
I stop and look up towards you again, and move a little bit, and just showing you the extent of my horrid prosthesis. It's just an iron rod that helps me stand. That is literally nailed with 4, like, not even screws, but iron spikes on the 4 sides upon my leg, just hammered in the most crude of fashion. This prosthesis would only work on an Iran. Any other species would get horrid infections and permanent damage.
And if I'm not mistaken, you're probably apart from the prosthesis, your whole body is probably, I don't know, like with cracks and shit from like.
Yeah, it's charred black by soot and ash, and it has like 4 deep gashes upon the chest. Again, I look like a statue that someone tried to, deface or demolish or some such, and then try to patch itself up. It looks, if I weren't so scary looking, it'd look comical.
Yeah, and right now I'm very like scared. I'm like you show me the thing and you like you told me proactive. To me it's almost like you commanded me what to do. I'm looking at you and I'm like,
Oh, okay. Okay. I can repair that. No, there's no. Oh. You know, my great grandfather. My great grandfather was with one of you. You were called Aaron. They call you the Gargoyles, right?
and I say this like trying to be from like I'm like trying to get close to the lake because I'm supposed to work with it, but at the same time it's like I'm like afraid if I get too close shit will happen.
I simply nod when you call me Oron, not particularly commenting on it, just
Yes, Genevieve Tuf Ugathea. Yeah, Genevieve Tuf Ugathea. He helped an Arab similar to you. He had a prosthetic arm. He helped him. I see. Wow. I don't know who did this or how they did it. I'm surprised it sustained your weight for this long, even for iron. Okay. Oh, those cracks are new. Or is your form like that, or you seem very you're not completely like the rumors said. And I've heard rumors. Huh? I've heard rumors. You are okay. You will not hurt me, right?
I shake my head after a 3-second pause.
Okay. I'll do my best. I'll do my best, right?
And I go and I'm gonna assume he would let me to roll blacksmith, so I am going to do that. And let's see. Oh, that. Okay, that's gonna be decent. Okay. Okay, so that is a... It's iron, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that would be a 16 on my roll. So I guess we kind of wait for him. Natural 40. Let me see. Oh yeah, I didn't. Oh yeah, that would be 17, 18. 18. Yep, that's 18. Yep.
Yeah, I
see
basically
that.
let you work as you please upon my form.
And I go to work, but at the same time, you may look like I'm kind of, I'm kind of shitting my pants while I'm fixing the leg, I'm trying, like, I'm afraid, like, yeah, I don't know if you feel pain or not. I'm afraid, like, if I hammer something differently, like I make some hammer the wrong way, like maybe you could feel pain. I know how to work a statue. I know how to work metal, but I don't know well the heck would rock feel pain if it does. So I'm very afraid. And you see me kind of like shudder sometimes after like making a hammer, and I like make the hammer and they like shudder and they look at you. Okay, you're not moving like pain. Okay, that's good. And I keep.
You have to smash really hard for me to feel any pain.
Well, he's smashing as he should smash. I don't know. I think our almighty flame tender, as he comes, will tell us if you do. But he will do as he must for the job, and for a roll will be 18.
Yeah, periodically when you need the warmth of the forge, I just put my leg inside the fire and wait a few minutes before returning it to the anvil, letting you continue working.
Yep.
Also, you have some knowledge of this, right?
I nod at that.
That's good. That's very good. I'm. I think that's something I have not been wise enough. You're being of rock and you have this steel prosthetic and you know about these things. I know nothing about barber. If I had to patch myself up, I would probably work better on you, all wounded myself, than to do anything for myself.
I simply look at you. And perhaps now you might notice, because of your ferrum nature, it took a while, but there's a glimmer, a golden glimmer to both of my horns. They're covered in soot and ash and dirt, such mineral filth, but it is unmistakably even dirty, but it is gold upon my horns.
Oh, you know what helps me a bit? Can I clean the horns a bit? Just the reflection helps me work better. Yep, the reflection it's a high blacksmith thing. It's I could explain it to you, but it takes a lot of knowledge.
I wait for like 7 seconds before lowering my head.
And those 7 seconds, like, I was justifying myself, like, oh yeah, like I should do it because of and when you lower your head, it's like, oh, yep, okay, and I go towards there, and I go, as I take like a piece of cloth, and I go, oh, I'm like there, for at least some 20 seconds, and then like I'm like I look at the flickering fire on the reflection, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm almost done. And as I'm like going away from it, I still like I'm looking at the horns, and then like, okay.
You do notice when observing them that it is a thin layer of gold, plated upon stone horn, so it's not entire golden, horn sticking out from my head, just a thin layer, but it's still very much gold. But the way it has been, grafted onto there it looks like poor blacksmithing, as if it was wet gold, melted, and someone just poured it onto the horns and squeezed it a bit here and there until it then just waited until it was hard again. It looks horridly put there.
You know something? I could do something for you. I don't have any. Oh yeah, but I could do this for you. Is there any engraving you would like on your leg?
I just look at you, staring, not saying anything.
I could make a Thulian engraving. Well, nice for you to have there.
I wait another like 5 seconds before nodding at that, and as the work has been going on now for a while on my leg, a thought hits me or comes to my mind. Right, these species, they want payment. That, and it's a strange word to my mind, even though it's very common and probably has like 15 different words in the Thulian language for getting paid or paying someone. But it's a strange concept to me and my kin. So after pondering on that for an extra 2 minutes, my Roculette claw digs into a pouch hanging on almost a hook-filled belt, as I hear the clinking of more metal as I take up one golden arrowhead and give it to you, having no idea how much it is actually worth. It's probably way more worth than the work you're doing, but I don't know that. So I just give it to you.
Oh, like first, like you're like, what's your? Could you describe or show me your body positioning as you give it to me?
Yes, I'm more or less, in front of you. As like the fire is to my right-hand side, and you're to a slight degree my more left-hand side as you work on the leg. And I at times, put it back in the fire to, reheat it, and then give it back to you. And I again probably have like maybe like almost 3 extra feet to you, lengthwise. So I'm just sitting there and moving the leg when you need it moved as you work it, and then after what probably be like I don't know, maybe 40 minutes of work, I just take forth that thumb-sized, like Aron thumb-sized golden arrowhead and hand it to you.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. For the work I've done, would you like an engraving?
And I'm actually like stumbled because I did not even remotely expected payment. I almost got it like a command when you told me that you had a problem.
So any engravement? Are you sure? I'm well known for my engravements. I'm called Good Deal Ugathea, and Ugathea we do engravements. Always the eldest son learns how to blacksmith and make engravements in blacksmith.
After pondering that information for 5 seconds, I take my left claw and just in the dirt draw the hammer symbol.
Would you say, as a curiosity, would you say that Thulian language, or Flame Tender may say, Thulian language, would it be ideographic or phonographic?
Phonographic.
Phonographic, okay. The hammer symbol, then it would just be a symbol, it wouldn't be a letter in Thulian language. Okay, then nice.
Yeah,
what?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I make like the hammer, and I actually like more or less how big is the leg of Tahulix?
Maybe a foot long iron peg, more or less. It doesn't provide me with great, I can't
this-
bend
Is
it
this
like
a
a
flute,
leg.
more or less? Is
Nope.
this a flute?
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, okay. Then I'm gonna make the hammer, and in the hammer, I will write in Tehulian in 2 characters, good deal. In the hammer.
I just let you work the leg. You're obviously showing yourself to be a far better blacksmith than I am, so I just leave all that work in your hands.
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah,
why don't you
I think
describe this?
basically-
You both stay, and then you know, Virgiloth, you do a far better job, obviously, with your significant blacksmithing role. I see. Would you describe it again, if you already have, for me at least, as you know, with this engraving, as you reforge and reform this this iron prosthesis? What does it look like?
Well, it's gonna be the same amount of iron because, of course, I don't think there was any extra iron to put there, and it would.
No.
If you ask for more iron, I can give you like my iron
Oh,
arrowheads.
sure. Yeah, we could say that, you know, that you get similar to how you put, you know, your leg. I probably like reinforced it better, like to make it more basically kind of made it thicker for it to stand better, your weight, and then, you know, the engraving is basically, I made like the silhouette of a hammer, and in the letter part I put a good deal, you know, and it made the hammer actually look similar to my hammer. That's a very solid. It's not like a lot of refined engravement or craftsmanship. It's just like, you know, solid, good, perfect in all the angles, ferrum craftsmanship. And that's pretty much what's engraved, you know, in the silhouette of the hammer, and in Goodwill on Tehulian in the hammer on the leg, first leg.
Yeah, this probably takes several hours to do.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It's well into the afternoon. Probably late afternoon at this point. Yeah. So Ahura Mazda is on its descent. But after such hours of toil, your leg supports you a lot better than, of course, it did after your wounding and after your inexplicable growth spurt. And as you gaze upon that new iron prosthesis until you test it out, and it supports. You're not like off slightly. You're actually level again. And you could probably move a little bit easier with the weight of your prodigious body better distributed, so that the leg can take the weight easier. You don't have to lean on it at just the right angle, or your leg will buckle, or something. So, yeah, as you look upon that, we will change the scene. As Vog, you awaken. You find yourself floating. Your eyes looking up at the sky. Perfectly still waters. Black nighttime waters. And you look up. The memory of what just occurred is not in your mind. It's as if this is sort of the only reality, your only perceptions, as if you're awaking from sleep. You don't see the twin moons of Ahriman. Instead, you see floating, hovering in the skies, lines traversing the infinite blackness of what is above you, pale and silvery, like a shining milky color. You look around you. This is indeed the beach, the shores of Ivapum, which you have made some amount of home for yourself these past chains. But no people. The sound and the sights of canoes, of rowboats, fishermen. You do not see them. So much of the shore, of the land around you, is dark. But where these straight lines, these filaments pass, visibility exudes from them as if they are some sort of luminescent, infinitely small fluorescent bulbs upon the sky. You see they also lace through the ground, through the water. As you look a little bit more, you can see they sway ever so slightly in a wind which you don't feel upon your skin, but see them move anyway. These web-like strands, so few here. This shadow version of Ivapum, of this shore. Sanem is not with you. Your strange acquirements, that shining metal circle that you found, that's not with you, nor is anything else, save for that net that you created yourself in a frenzy, in a meditative trance. You feel that wrapped about your torso. You hear a voice that seems to come from all places, all angles. You see as the spirits see. You must hunt, entrap a spirit, seek your prey, ensnare it in your web, and feed upon it as the spidery eyes of the Queen of Order. Silence.
Where must I find this? Where must I go?
No answer.
All right, so I guess I'll go on the beach and see what I can find. I mean, I'm kind of guessing that it's going to be somewhere on Damar, given that it's
Maybe.
Helena's. So I'm heading up there and I'm going to start looking. I'm, am I feeling like tense about the fact that like nobody's around, Sanem's not here, or does this feel like it's appropriate?
It feels appropriate. You're not worried
Okay.
that Sanem isn't here.
Okay.
Or stuff like that.
So, all right then. Yeah, I'm going to head on to land and look for signs of whatever prey Helena deems Righteous.
You go out. You see a few more of these strands laid out over the landscape. They sway ever so slightly, like wires, between two like power lines. They sway ever so slightly the distance, making the undulations appear less at such a distance. As you pass, you come near to these threads. The closer you get to them, it's hard to explain. You can see your perceptions kind of like tunnel vision. Kind of the closer you get are kind of drawn into this spiritual strand of a web. You see events. You see places, multiple places at once in different times. You see connections between what points this particular strand might connect. You may a web, a thread hanging from a building connecting to another building. You see, you get closer, and you could see the interior of both of those structures. And it's not like watching a movie or like you're in two places at once somehow. It's knowledge, it's perception of multiple things at once, like how that spirit let flow understanding, pure understanding into your mind. It is the same. You approach these bits of web, touch them, you can pluck them, and you can even touch and feel them. And you realize you can shape these webs yourself, at least in this place, in this moment, as you yourself see fit. And it's both a overwhelming and exhilarating experience to perceive in such a way. It's almost like too much for your mind, but yet it feels appropriate in this place, in this moment. And as you touch them, you catch a brief glimpse of this meager web, a brief glimpse, an aura of a strange creature of scintillating luminescence deep within a hollow, within what exists of this town.
All right, so yeah, I'm going to, as I walk closer towards this luminescence, I'm like, grasping these different transcendent lines of fate or lines of connection. I mean, she's not really wise enough or learned enough to understand that, like, the actual, like, academic terms for these things, but she, like, goes in and she'll stick her hands in to these connections and, like, gasp or take a glimpse in to try to see what makes these connections up. Like, are these events significant to, are Are these events about people, or are they about places? What makes them significant that they are marked and that they are connected to these other events or points? And she's gonna try to like figure out like why are these the ones that are connected? Why not any other point? Why is this point connected to this point? What is the significance that Helena places on these? And so like she's gonna continue like looking in and just kind of doing her best to try to find some sort of common denominator between them, some sort of way of judging which is the or like what is the reason behind these things.
Okay. As you manipulate and experiment with these webs, give me a another meditation roll.
That one's not so good.
Okay.
So that's gonna be 8.
Okay. You still see what you see, and some of these connections are between places. Some of these things are people, but the sense you get, and I'm going to do a quick montage of things and you see, of figures and such, is Helena's eyes are upon certain places, people, and things. And in some way that only she can perhaps fathom, these things may be manipulated such that fate could be altered or changed. The turn of events shaped. Time itself played like an instrument, like a lute or a lyre, so that its patterns might produce specific outcomes, like a chessboard or something along those lines. But what you do see, you're sifting and shifting through these things, you see the grotto from which you recall. You see it draped in webs and covered in the silky secretions of Helena's children, like a nest, a node from which other strands flow out from and into. You see the people of the coast. You see that family of humans, of orcs. You see them at once as they are now. You see them in the same moment in totally different dwellings, in different homes. There's more of them. And then you see the longhouse. You see Azad draped in gold. You see a gigantic manor house of stone and wood and of iron. You see bars of metal shining and glinting in the darkness. A stone man to Holix. And behind him, another stone man. Behind him, another stone man. Almost identical, but slightly different. One holding a brutal axe, another a great longbow. Some with horns, some with wings. You see a figure standing silently in the ground beneath the longhouse, wearing a hood and robe of liquid gold. You hear the buzzing of flies. You see Sanem innocently floating in her infancy, and you see her as an adult, for a brief second, aged to maturity, with brilliant, multicolored plumage, shining and gleaming as the sheen of Leviathan still clings to her flesh. You see this in many other things throughout the town. You can't make sense of why, but you know they are important in some way. Then you see within the bowels of the earth, in the center of this town, you can see a spinning circle of perhaps iron or some metal, something which lies embedded within the rock itself, yet hums and thrums. You see strange reptilian form, squat creature, its flesh transparent. You can see beneath it its gelatinous skin, the pulsing and moving images of purples, blues, reds, orange, yellows, of symbols that you can't understand, you don't fathom. Some arcane or mathematical formulae running through its very being. And you can sense that thing looking back as you look at it. You sense this is the prey you must ensnare, you must capture, feed upon, as is the custom and the way of spiders. You feel that tug upon the strand of the web. Found what you're looking for.
So I feel like this is like, yeah, I feel, yes, this is what I found. Like, this is what I'm looking for, But I'm also like, oh my god, this is like way underground. This is terrifying. Like, I am not excited about the prospect of like trying to go down underground, like, bury myself essentially to get this thing. But my heart is like, it's beating, but I'm doing my best to relax, to focus, and to do what must be done, because I mean it is ordained, it must be done. So I will take this line connecting me to it, and I will follow it. I will pull the line as I walk further and further towards this hollow, seeing if I can like move this spectral being. But either way, I'm still making slow progress towards the hollow to apprehend my prey.
An interesting thought. Roll me a Give me a piety roll.
Pious as hell. All right. Do you want me to add any attributes or no?
Enlightenment.
Okay.
Actually, no, for this, presence.
All right. Oh no. Oh hey. Okay. 5, 10, 26.
Okay, as you're manipulating these webs more and more, as you're following the strand, you can almost feel yourself move within the web, through the events and places in sort of a non-corporeal manner. If you input your use your will upon these strands, you can manipulate yourself, the people and the events that these webs are connected to, and I leave it totally in your hands. So basically, you can, in a way, manipulate causality in this particular scene. In whichever
With respect to everything, or with respect to my hunt here?
With respect to your hunt, you can't like.
Okay.
And now I am Mithras. Like
Yeah.
That's one way to get apotheosis.
All right. So well, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to attempt to just flow through this this connection that I have found between me and this this spirit, and so I can like what I want to do is, rather than like corporeally walk or oh my god, all right.
Uh-oh. I believe, oh, there you go.
I'm sorry about this.
It's alright. Good.
All right, rather than like walk or even like swim through the air, what I'm going to try to do is flow through the connections of causality to arrive upon this spirit without without moving, in a sense, to jump to it and catch it unawares by manipulating the connections between us.
Okay. You feel those connections and you pull upon them in the right way and you move through. Events happen, and it's both time and space are manipulated such that you are here, now you're here, now you're here, now you're then, now you're then. And you find yourself almost instantaneously inside this cyst, this hollow within and beneath the hills of this town, and you see that strange, gigantic ring of metal, but of a metal you've never seen before. It seems to shine like crystal, but has the consistency of metal upon it. And within this rocky chamber, you see this exotic and alien creature. It does not immediately seem to notice or recognize your presence, and you can have an action against this thing. as you feel yourself sort of ejected through the web of Helena to this location to strike speedily upon this thing.
Alright, so I have that net, right?
Yes, and you can give me a theology check on this thing to know what it is.
Alright, wow. That's 16.
You're not sure of the name, but this is a spirit of Mithraxu, of time,
Okay, alright.
and of magic.
So, I'm gonna, attempt to throw the net upon it to capture it, hold it down so that, I can work Helena's will. I mean,
Okay, I'm going to say that is a what would that be?
I think it's like projectile or something like that, but I don't have any grades in it no matter what. So
Just give me a projectile check then, but for the purposes of this, you will not have your -4 penalty.
Okay.
Because of your incredible meditation roll to make this an intricate part of yourself and your own understanding.
Okay, well I still got 7, so.
Okay, so yeah, you can describe what you do.
All right, yeah. So I take this this intricate web-like net made from the sea. It's flexible, it's strong, but it's light. The only experience I have with nets is like with fishing and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna cast it upon it like I do. Like you would if you're trying to catch a fish or something like that. I'm gonna do it quietly and without trying to alert the thing to my presence. But I'm gonna, I cast it out and throw it upon it, and I'm sure that it just completely misses it. So that's what I'll do. I cast it out, and then the spirit, it just doesn't even land near the spirit. It's just like. It's just a little too short. I wasn't judging the distance correctly, and there it is. I'm utterly disappointed in myself.
Yeah. And as you do that, it's for an instant as if you throw the net, but it seems slow, and then as if it's moving through molasses or through syrup before the whole scene changes. You find yourself upon the chaos of that horrendous day so long ago, but really not. You find yourself upon the burning wreckage of Anasht, the sounds of combat and death, the hissing and foul tongue of dracoids, the smell of scales and of sweat surrounds and fills your nostrils.
All right, so yeah, I'm going to run over to the corner and grab my Dokimbi. My first priority is to protect the eggs, of course, but I know that I can't just take the eggs under the water. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to bar the door as well as I can while I'm still holding the Dokimbi, and make sure that if anybody tries to bash their way in, or tries to get in, I'm ready to attack.
And you do so, and you stand ready in your home, your charges, your children, reliving this day, and you hear a slam upon the door as it bends, and another slam as pieces of the frame begin to buckle, and then a third, and 3 serpentine forms of Typhons, one for each of your children, burst through. They will,
All right, at this, like I'm, like obviously my heart is like beating out of my chest. My feathers are like all straight out, and like I know I can't take on 3 Typhons by myself.
and yet you have
but,
to.
Yeah, I have to, and so I take a step back and I'll swing at them with my Dikembe. They'll parry it pretty easily as I do my best to just like hit them like right in the face or something like that, something that will delay them as I attack. But they're obviously it's too much for me.
Roll for it.
Okay.
You are prepared to defend upon your home turf.
Yeah, it's not gonna work. So that is 7 or 6. I'm sorry.
Okay. You swing at one, and it deftly slithers out out of your way, moving such that it's now one is at your side, and there's 2 in front of you. The other 2 move in closer, slowly, hissing, speaking that hateful tongue. You don't understand at this moment what they're saying, but it is not pleasant, no doubt. They will attempt to strike you. At least 2 of them will. Oh, well, great for, you are saved.
Oh, yay! All right. Where's my defense roll? 4. So the first one is 17, and the
you don't need
second
for the
one.
second one. They got
Okay.
double ones. So
Okay.
one of them goes to strike you and has a wicked sort of curved dagger, slithers forth with speed, slices you underneath the the shoulder upon the ribs here. It ducks down. The other one goes as well, but is actually entangled by, as you sort of swing out, that strand of that net flies out in the opposite direction and catches this thing upon the hood. It tries to get it off, but it cannot. You may act.
All right. Well, I only got one other choice, and I don't want to do this because I don't want to disturb the eggs. But there's only one thing that I can do. So am I aware of the future, or is it, or am I is this literally the past? I'm sorry.
It's like a dream. This feels like the past. So it's all,
But,
everything makes sense in the moment. If that makes sense.
But I mean, because a lot of stuff has changed for me between these 2 times. Do I have the consciousness of me from the future or me from at this point?
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do.
You do have the consciousness of your current self.
All right. So, Mother Helena, Mother Fitash, Grandmother Evale, you have given me much. You have taught me the ways of the song. Now help me as I sing one more time. And that's I'm saying this each time each little breath I take a bit further, a bit further, a bit further, and then I'm going to scream and sing the mighty Song of Pain upon these poor, misbegotten Typhon, which I got way more than a 10.
Great.
Yeah, I got 22.
Okay. As you do that, you scream out with the voice that is your people's blessing. All the Typhons, grab their tiny little ear holes, the sides of their hooded heads, and they scream out in a hissing, rasping cry as blood pours forth from their ears down their scaled hoods. They tumble lifelessly, slumping to the ground, and like that, you're back in the stony chamber, that strange creature of math and time. You see liquid that shines like pure light from its face, which is so difficult to make out. And it stumbles to its extremities on its hands and knees. You may act.
Alright, well, yeah, I'm gonna just, like, straight up try to stomp on it with my, like, horrifying eagle claw feet.
Go for it.
Okay. Wow, alright. Alright, so that's 17.
Okay, you boost once, as this thing has only a static defense in this round. How much damage do you do?
4 then, if I boost once.
Okay, so describe what you do.
Alright, so yeah, I see this thing is kind of wounded here, and it looks vulnerable to me, so I take my horrifying talons, and I just kind of, like, clench them together a little bit, and, like, stomp down, and as they, like, kind of, like, claw down on this, like, weird reptilian creature, and, like, just kind of, like, crunch in on its body, and you see, like, this weird spectral light kind of, like, start filtering from the wounds where its weird body is pierced, kind of, like, bursting out tiny little flecks of light as I, give it the treatment it deserves. You guys, stomp on it.
Okay. And it cries out in pain, but it isn't in a singular voice. It's the sounds of multiple individuals, some of them people you know from your past, from your present. The cry of Sanem, the grumbling roar of Taholix, of that horrendous red beast, of your people, of the Typhons, whom were slaughtered as, in turn, your people were slaughtered. All these voices are its own scream, and you must give me a meditation mind control.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one's gonna be okay.
Oh dear.
So that's 8, 16, 24, or 22, 27.
Okay. You are just able to maintain your yourself as you feel yourself be pulled into a different event, a different period of your life in
So
time.
yeah, as these screams come into me, like they try to overwhelm me and just, like, completely wipe, like, just wash me away, and I feel this, I feel the love that I have for Sanem, and I feel the love for my people. I feel Taholix, I feel Avachov, and it resonates through me, but I say, no, this is false, no. And I just, like, through, like, just sheer force of personality, through sheer force of, like, my dominating will, I just cast this this beast out of my head and stand there, and then immediately get cast away, as you were saying. I'm sorry, I didn't want to.
No, That's right.
So yeah, I cast that out and stand there defiant against its will or apparent will to dominate. There is no way that you can do this to me. I am too strong. I know your falsehoods.
And the action is yours.
Come. All right. So yeah. I mean, I'm gonna roll another strike. We shall see how we do. I don't know. 8.
So you try to strike it again, but this time it is not totally caught unawares. But it moves, and the way it moves, it's hard to see with those scintillating patterns of light beneath its flesh. And it moves quickly to the side, trying to outcircle you. You lose sight of it for an instant, and then you see it again. And you see Tahalix before you. And he's
Tahalix.
attack-
Huh? He's attacking?
Oh, yeah, he is.
That's not good.
14.
That's much better than me, I think. Yes, that is a 9.
Okay. So he moves with speed. He doesn't. You've never seen him. You've never seen him possess, and reaches out with his rocky claws and grasps and rakes into your flesh with 5 damage.
Okay.
I don't think you're wearing armor, so I'm not going to bother.
No. And so so the claws like rake into me. Do these feel like real claws, or is it like
They
a spectral?
feel like real.
But I mean, is it affecting me as if it were a real claw, or is it more like attacking my life force? I guess is the question.
It's more like it's attacking your life force, but your self in this place
Okay.
wounds.
Alright.
But you feel that it's sort of like your life force, rather than, ow, I've just had my flesh torn.
Yeah. So so the claw comes in and it digs and it makes a massive scrape right across like my belly, kind of like tearing away the dream robes that I would have been wearing, just like sort of stuff that some of Azad's castaways that I would have been wearing in the grotto, and I just kind of like reel back and look at him and say, Alex, this is not your fight. We must take it to the spirit. Come now, let us go. I am your friend. I am not an enemy.
Give me a diplomacy check.
Okay. There we go. 21.
Okay. Let me see here. Okay. Let me see how this goes. What did you get?
21.
Oh, okay. So you do that, and you feel and see that form of Tahalix sort of fall away and crumble to stone and to pebbles and rocks and that which he is made. and instead you see that form of that horrendous spirit of time. Yes, it is. The illusion it had cast crumbling away as you, perhaps convinced not to Holix, but your own self of the conviction of your words.
Come now, you cannot fool me. Fight me with honor. Come. And I will, like run over and try to get another stomp.
Okay. Roll for it.
So that's going to be the same as before, so 8.
Okay. You get, with this, having dispelled the illusion, you achieve a minor, it has a minor penalty. How much damage do you normally do?
With a strike, I deal 3.
Okay. Okay, so you get a more of a grazing strike against this creature. As more light-filled fluid pours from its body as it stumbles and staggers. Make me a meditation body control. Never mind.
All right.
So, okay, with my double ones, you feel this thing through some occult means try to establish some sort of connection with your body, with yourself, with your mind, and with your very form. But in that moment, in that connection, that preternatural knowledge, the experience of traversing the web of Helena, that manipulation of causality, you instead can manipulate it for one round. You have artistic license here to its spell or what have you has backfired in this, and the connection was established, but with you as the master.
Okay, so like, is this like, can I manipulate it in like only a particular way, or am I like controlling it, or am
do whatever you want to do. I'm going to leave this in this spiritual realm up to your imagination.
All right, so so I can defeat it, like I defeat it, or like.
If you want to, you can.
Okay. Yeah. So so it like reaches out and it attempts to like make this connection with me, and but with the Grace of Helena, I have an understanding of how it's going to do this and where and why. And so, as it does this, I'm able to, as soon as it makes the connection, rather than allowing it to come and force its will upon me, I instead force my will upon it and demand that it stay still, that it not move, that it not defend itself, and I'm constantly sending this command to, still, stay still, stay still. You will not move. You will not move. You are below me. Helena, the goddess of the nobility, has declared that I am valuable. You are not. You are below everything else. You are below me. You will not look at me. And as I'm, constantly projecting these thoughts, I walk up upon it, and I'm just gonna like take my hands and just like stick it into one of its wounds, and I'm gonna try to like rip its spiritual heart out. I'm gonna like, stick in there as deeply as I can and pull out its horrifying heart filled with the liquid light pouring out from its wound, from the heart, from everything, as it pulses with the power of time itself, and I'm gonna straight eat the heart.
Okay, you do, and it's like, a strobe light of multifaceted colors of pure, bright light fluid, and as symbols and arcane markings exude and flow and spray off of this heart, this conglomeration of different colors and shapes, and as you sink your sharp teeth into the heart of this spirit, you can feel it liquefy as it turns to something for you to just, you can suck down and imbibe and absorb completely. And in that moment, as you do so, you feel for the brief moment that you can understand that your mind is one with the totality of Helena's vision for this world, for the smallest fraction of a second. And the understanding comes and it goes, but it's like a thunderclap going off inside your mind of that incredible amount of awareness and understanding. As in that moment, you are snapped back into the physical world, into the grotto. And the last thing you see before you are snapped back into reality is the form of that spirit of Helena rushing through as if from the darkness you do not see, and snatching that spirit up and reeling back, and you are reeled back into the physical, and you see the spirit, that spider, its legs frantically working and weaving and covering this spirit of Nthraxu in silk and in the binding strands of Helena.
You think you try to deceive me. It is foolish.
You have mastered the spirit and experienced the perceptions of the spiritual realm. Your mind is expanded with the power and wisdom of Helena. Your prey is yours for all time, as it binds the spirit completely, sinks its fangs within the cocoon, and you can hear it drinking deeply of the spirit stuff, the liquefied spiritual flesh of this creature. And it holds out, it sort of looms over to you. Takes with two of its legs that net that you had woven and sort of extends it out. It's its spindly legs, unfurling this thing, and it disgorges the liquefied flesh of that spirit into the fibers of that creation, that thing you had made in contemplation to Helena, as that liquid is absorbed and disappears and dissipates within the seaweed fibers of this rope.
What is this? What is this that you do? I ask as I'm like gazing at the rope like greedily soaking up all of this like bizarre spirit fluid.
You have bested the spirit of magic and of time, your first prey. And as such, its power will be yours, bound in this item you have made. As your mind was expanded, your body created this sign of your faith and of your power, your potence. That which you have devoured will lend its strength to you.
This is good. Yes. How does one derive strength from that which is foul, that which is pathetic? This creature who would not fight with honor.
As it gives you back the net, I will teach you. You are ready. And with that, as the corpse of this spirit sort of dissipates into the ether, the last bits of spiritual essence is absorbed into your net, we will go to soliloquies.
I hear the hammering of the ferrum upon the iron, working my limb, and a tiny sense, if but for a moment, of security comes to me, but it is fleeting. Trolls, manifestants attack in the forest. This is worse than I had been led to believe. How can such bestial things linger so near and not be noticed or induced panic of immensity? What did that orc mean? He brought me to that place, told me of past lives. Was that it? Was that how Kinukak met its end? Did it face the troll and die? You must press it for information. But the hunters must know. The Shishan people must know of the troll presence. I must form a hunting pack. I must form it. Too bad that the strong flesh is already dead.
Okay, that's a good job. Okay. Oh. Gold, yes. Of course, I deserve payment from this. Yep. Yes, sir. Oh, gold. Oh, and those horns too are of gold. Just a bit. Oh. I think I was too hasty. Now everyone can read. Good deal on that. It's a good job. But Do I want people to think of me when they see this Aaron? He was close to that thing only heard descriptions of. But they say it's safe. It's safe now. I'll let him. Yeah, he'll just walk. He'll walk and make testament of good work. Good work, how it holds out in the weight of beasts. I doubt anyone around here knows what an Aaron is. Now I know, seeing one. Not just from memories that come from words of so many. Ah, yes. I've heard Aarons have memories of their own memories of their past selves. I don't know if they're just gossips, but I think of us. We may not have them in us, but we hear and we remember. We remember as if we ourselves lived. We hear and remember from our fathers and from their fathers and their fathers before them. And that way we know. That way I know what an Aaron is. That way I can see the opportunity that comes to this town. Oh, and this is sad. Sad. If he's building something, he's gonna need me. And if he doesn't need me yet, then he'll need me after hearing me. Yes. After he hears me, he'll know he needs me. For now, I hope. Well, this thing paid. I'm alive. Everything is good. It's well. It goes its way. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, that thing was huge. It was huge. Huge in weight. Okay. Well, I'll be my way now. I'll be my way towards those. I don't remember where they bastis. I'll ask him myself.
I have seen too much and not enough. I have seen how each are connected to Helena's plans, but I do not know why. I do not know how. But what I do know that Helena's plans are my plans now. That we can only heal this land together. I know that by putting the right tools, the right people in the right places, then we can heal this land. Then we can cast out these foul spirits who would deceive me, who would send me to places and times where I have not been, or where I have been, and do not wish to return again. If these things would fight against me, they would be on the side of the Typhon. And they, like the Typhon, will fall. They have no place in the web but as prey. The prey must fall. I only hope that Senna can understand.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Session 6 of In a Land Not Their Own. See you next time.